Welcome to the Boise State Esports Arena, and tonight you join us for Boise State continuing on their journey in the Mountain West for Overwatch. Boise State is all set to go up against their opponent today. Will it be another win in this general season? Remember, they want to make their way to the finals, and maybe getting a win here today will guarantee them a spot in the playoffs. We'll just have to see how it turns out, and I'm here to help call all the action for you. My name is Jacob Palmer. I am joined by Dallin Starnes. We're going to call all of the action for you as we see fit here today. And Dallin, when it comes to Overwatch, there are kind of a few heroes that I like to kind of consider showboats, you know.
Sure.
In the right hands, they just make plays that make you stun, you know. I think the Sojourn would be one of them when you can land those railgun shots. You got stuff like the Tracer, of course, kind of the traditional, you know, high risk, high reward, you know, picking off people in an instant. Is there any particular hero that you think Boise State is really going to show up on today?
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, for me personally, I always love to see good Lucio movement. That's something for me. I am a movement. I mean, if it's a character that's more movement based, like Genji or say Doomfist or Tracer, stuff like that, I am often much more in that category than I would be any other. So I don't know. I'm hoping to see some good Lucio movement.
Yeah, that kind of lends itself to kind of a general brawl comp, if you will. And Boise State, not brawl comp, excuse me, that's the opposite. I meant to say dive comp.
Yeah.
A general dive comp when you go and try to get the squishies. We're going to be starting out on Nepal for Control. And it's been a while since we've seen Nepal. A lot of various stages that you can play on. I personally, I mean, if we're looking forward to Lucio, then Sanctum has to come to mind because that's just all of these Control stages kind of have the environmental stage where there are these bottomless pits just waiting for a well-placed boop. And Lucio has been a staple of Overwatch since it came out. Has hardly been a target of any buffs since Overwatch 2 came out, and it's just always stood there as a solid player, a teammate. Not only, I mean, the acrobatics, we talk about, crazy Lucio plays or stalls on the points, but that general utility you give to your team to help boost their movement as well, recontest faster. I mean, that's just some of the invaluable stuff is what he's offering.
I mean, and like additionally with what you were talking about before, the environmental aspect, when it works in Lucio's favor, it goes absolutely crazy. You've got the Ilios well. You've obviously got the Sanctum. There's just certain areas, and you're just if you ever see a Lucio in those places, you just always have to keep a third eye out, just waiting, because you never know when he could strike. He's fast enough that if he does get you, he'll take you out.
You never know when the Lucio will strike, but there is one thing that you can always know, and that's that our head coach Doc Haskell will give you some keys to the game to help you perform in your best in Overwatch. And today it's going to be to never take a fair fight. That means to take fights in unexpected places when your opponents are unprepared, and of course try to leverage as much tempo as you can get. It's all brought to you by Drop-In Gaming, the premier online gaming platform for gamers who seek competition. You can play your favorite games to win cash and prizes through free and paid entry matches and tournaments. Whether you are new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop-In Gaming has the right games and competition for you. Can see a lot of the players, including the man himself, Doc Haskell, currently on vacation, but joining the players virtually to face off in this fight. They are all ready and loaded in to go. Doc, of course, looking on with his watchful eye, ready to give them any sort of advice in between matches. And they're going to need advice because this is the one you're going to want to watch out for. These are the two titans of Overwatch in the Mountain West, UNLV and Boise State. Boise State has won the championship 3 times, and UNLV has won the championship 3 times. This isn't necessarily a championship match, but it could be an omen for what things are going to come as these two very bitter rivals face off against each other.
Now, I know that I was just talking about the movement-based characters, but I do have a certain soft spot in my heart for Ramatra. He is so fun to play, and if you know how to play him properly, and you can, I mean, if you just know what you're doing, he is so much fun to play.
I like Punchy Man.
Yeah, Punchy Man is so funny.
Well, right now, in terms of movement, UNLV has already positioned themselves toward the point, making their way across the ridge. Boise State is going to try to get a retake. The point unlocks UNLV already more than halfway through the charge. Kellen's going to tank out a whole bunch of damage as Zarya comes through with a bubble all charged up. Has to throw out his molly, so to speak, and move on out of there. But this is an awkward position for Boise State to find themselves in, and QWERTY is going to be the first one to get a pick, getting it onto Plato. Matt Merck trying to find a pick of his own from the high ground, but Boise State is not being able to stand up to the Rebels right now, who already have about 20% on this control point.
I'm just replaying that Omni-Flirt moment with Matt Merck just looking for an angle. It just keeps replaying over and over and in my mind again. And I mean, as they continue to lose the percent, man, that was just so unfortunate. But also simultaneously very funny.
Well, they do have one of the first ultimates available for the game. They will have window to recontest. Already, Curdy is getting right in the middle of this door. He's forced to swap over. We're going to have a Zarya face-off duel. That's a nice dynamite to get a whole bunch of damage, but it's QWERTY right on the front line who is continuing to be such a problem for the Broncos to overcome.
With that is going to be a team kill, so it's going to be, there's going to have to be some sort of aspect that changes here as it rolls over into like 2/3 of getting the general win on this map specifically.
Remember, this is the big one to determine an overall lead in the Mountain West, and this is not a good start for the Broncos. Going to go in, Matt Mark having the swapped over to the Bastion. Going to throw down as much damage as you can, throw out a grenade, try to use this window, but the Zarya bubbles, you do not want to try to pop those, get that Zarya even more charged up. But Cal is able to mow down Hertz, and that's going to help Boise State to try to get a retake. They're up 5-3. Bunch of ducking and weaving in between these narrow doorways. Nice grenade onto the support, and QWERTY and Omniflap also bite the dust. That's going to be the first team win and take for the Broncos.
Well, I mean, right now it does look like we only are going to have access to a high noon here in terms of ultimates for Boise State, while UNLV has both Pulse Remove and... Oh, no, they've got 3 now.
Doesn't quite surprise me that we're seeing this renewed focus on Zarya. She was the focus of recent buffs, having her primary fire damage increase, especially when it's charged up. We're going to see the overclock be brought out by UNLV and landing a headshot right onto Cal. Plato was able to get one against Kern Master, but Boise State doesn't have their tank, and I'd say that's a trade UNLV is happy with, especially because QWERTY can just continue wreaking havoc onto Matt Merck. Is going after the other squishies. Plato trying to keep the Broncos in the game. The beat's going to be expended by UNLV, trying to keep them alive. They do not want to give up this point because now they are 99. Chosen in a rough spot, has some people down to low health, and isn't able to get the touch. UNLV first round.
There was blips and moments there that I saw of really good Lucio movement there, but obviously that's not going to be enough to win you a round or anything. I just think it's something that I personally appreciated. I mean, this part specifically, when the window went up, I thought, I mean, obviously was a game changer in the short term. They were able to take control, but it was also just like kind of awkward positioning for the Bastion to try and play around, as he was both trying to peek through the site itself and also to the left side. And just, there was just a little window, a little pocket that they could just hide within. And this,
here we go.
This was the map that we're waiting for.
We're going.
Oh, they're going to switch off of Lucio. I'm a little bit sad in my heart, but also, I mean, hey. It's
well, UNLV still has Lucio, so we might see, does this come back to bite the Broncos? But right now, it's a charge through. UNLV, though, with that speed boost, is going to be able to get the great positioning on high ground. Might force Boise State to move on the other route. Chosen has a high viewpoint over the Broncos. Place the pylon down and just trying to land these right clicks. And Kel getting the first one. Omniflor and Manchwell biting the dust. Boise State up 2, making their way over toward the point, hanging in there, picking off QWERTY, and that is a team fight done, dusted, and won for the Broncos, taking the point back on Sanctum.
Now this, I mean, at this point, UNLV is going to be completely rerouting, you know, getting all swatted back up together. But I'm worried now. I'm just waiting for the moment where Lucio removes himself from the pack and just slowly sneaks somewhere from behind. Seems like he's going to be staying with the team for now.
Yeah, that'd have to be a heck of a flank, because he's got to go all the way around the left, just make a complete ring around the rosy of the
outside.
Point. Could. I mean, he can ride on walls, but as of right now, did see someone flanking. Omniflarp getting caught out, however, and now they're going to try to catch this Tracer, moving on back, throwing out the nade, and taking her out.
That Tracer flank, dangerous, dangerous, dangerous.
State now moving slowly but surely back up to the choke point. They have possession of the point, so they can take all of the space for themselves and just try to run out that timer. They're now more than halfway there toward victory. UNLV, though, sitting on an ultimate, that Graviton Surge. It's landed right onto the team. Could help push a whole bunch of damage, especially with that sticky bomb.
Trying to rack up as much damage.
Oh, talk about damage.
Oh.
Look at that with the window. Large Bagel just melts down the Zarya. Now has the grab available. He might throw out from Kel. There's so much space being gained against the Rebels, and we're getting near to the 80% mark. Final fight territory. Boise State in a very dominant position.
Stack up a little bit. Get ready for the next team fight. We got access to another Gravitic Flux. Gonna be kind of losing a little bit of position. Trying to get.
That's a nice Gravitic. Is able to catch the Zarya, but she'll be bailed out due to the beat UNLV spends, but that's what you want to do it for. That's the classic counter toward a Gravitic. Plato now trying to snipe out damage because you got one person on UNLV who's secretly taken the point out from under Boise State. A 1-2 punch from Plato, and what a bomb by Hertz! It has been quite a while since I have seen a triple be brought out by a Tracer bomb. UNLV has back control of the point and might be able to close it out 2-0 on control.
I mean, it is still, to preface, it is 94%, 225. There's still plenty of time for them to try and take advantage of, the time that they do have. Although it may be in somewhat short supply, there's still definitely time to turn this around. Gonna be trying to, I guess, just keep this tank off.
Omniflarp eliminated by Plato. Kitsune Rush used by UNLV to go charging into Boise State. Captive Sun expended by the Broncos, and a 1-2 onto Kern will take him out, but UNLV is trading back and forth. QWERTY going on a rampage right now, taking out Bagel and Plato. Hertz gets one onto Kel. Boise State doesn't have their tank. It's just a few players left trying to gain control on the point. Chosen landing the melee onto Hertz. And is that going to be enough? He's in a bad spot. He needs to get a touch, but he's being focused down too much. And UNLV takes back the point, now moving across 50%.
Got to back up a little bit here. It's a dangerous position to be in. Trying to get that Surge in there. This is a sneaky little spot. All right, nice headshot. I was just trying to take control of that Lucio, but Surge is going to try and quick stop to that.
Throw out a little bit of dynamite because they're all caught up in that narrow room, and there is kind of a split push from UNLV, kind of dividing Plato's attention. This Lucio gets hit with one shot and isn't able to escape from that rifle. Another dynamite thrown out just to zone out as Boise State is able to take the point on Sanctum, and now we'll be moving on to Shrine to decide it all.
I was worried there for a little bit, I mean, I don't know, as soon as it seems like, sorry about that, it seems like as soon as Boise State lost that point, I got a little bit, just a little bit concerned, It's been kind of difficult for them to try and retake here, but I don't know if it's just purely environmental or if it was a change of mental, not environmental, but that was a pretty solid round.
Boise State now ready to take this back on Shrine. Can they get it? This is for all the marbles in control. Both teams are going to go charging with that Lucio speed boost again. Boise State not going off for that Tracer, however, wants to stay with the Ash and Plato. Matt Merck on the Bastion. And now UNLV going to pop that first Zarya bubble. Boise State doesn't want to try to charge that up too much. QWERTY taking a bit of damage. Bubbles back up, and with the help of Hertz is able to negate Matt right on the point. UNLV up 1 to take the point as it unlocks in 2 seconds. Hurt gets rid of Boise State's tank, and now their Squishy is going to have a really tough time. They're going to be forced back and eliminated.
Especially with that Zarya and max charge, that's going to be a scary, scary sight.
Matt Merck looks like he might be rethinking some things. I mean, that's the risk you run with bringing out the Bastion is if you're in that turret form, sometimes it can be just a go situation, and that's Zarya. I mean, for me personally, it was whenever the Genji brought out the Reflect, and I was just eliminated right at the spot.
That's my instant go-to as well.
It's such a split-second reaction that you need to have. Matt Burke is going to try his luck on the Reaper. needs to get in close to be able to get this Zarya. Good amount of damage being placed onto QWERTY by Kel. They're trying to out-Zarya each other. Both are charged up as the lightsaber battle continues, and QWERTY wins it. UNLV's keeping control of the point. Boise State trying to get a touch here and there. They're a quarter away of taking it back for themselves. Minutia now has the Kitsune rush as well as Omniflar on the overclock. QWERTY picks up another. It's Plato this time.
There we go.
Will finally be taken out by our large bagel, but how much did Boise State have to give up to take it? They've dropped 2 of their players, and they haven't been able to take the point back for themselves as UNLV is now more than halfway.
We are going to be able to get our Zarya on the point while their UNLV is going to try and attempt to return. So it's going to give us a little bit of an advantage here.
Window placed down, helping Boise State get a whole bunch of damage and a whole bunch of sideline, on a really wide sideline, I should say. But look at UNLV, checkmark after checkmark after checkmark.
Oh, man.
Someone has paid their $8.99 a month to get all those checkmarks, and UNLV is ready to unleash the power of them as they move on in with the Kitsune rush on the recontest. QWERTY is going to be able to take out Kel. Now that's the tank down for Boise State. They're trying to use the Immortality Field to survive, but Chosen bites the dust as well as Omniflar is unleashing chaos on this railgun. Doesn't even need to use the overclock. It's just charging it up naturally and tearing through the Broncos.
I mean, at a point like that, I just can't get over the Twitter bit. But, I mean...
I knew you'd appreciate that. I know your sense of humor, Dal.
Yeah, I was going to try and say something about the power of Twitter. But no.
Listen, that's more of a Pandora's box kind of thing.
We don't need to.
Let's keep that shut for now and see if the Broncos can retake, and they need to right now because UNLV is at 85%. Boise State having less ultimates. They'll green out the Deadeye from Plato as well as the beat, but Hurts places one. He's going to use his ultimate to negate the Immortality Field. Can a Deadeye land? No, it doesn't from Plato. Boise State still yet to pick up anyone on point. UNLV now up to 99%. We are in overtime.
That could be big.
QWERTY, that could be a huge ultimate graft on Surge, but they can't put any damage. UNLV is able to tank it out. It is still 5-5. Boise State has now made their way onto the point that they are starting to trade back and forth. 1 down for each team, 4-4, but the better trade is on the side of Boise State. They've taken out the Rebels tank, and now they're moving, trying to get the squishies, but they are finding a way to survive through there. Boise State also needs to make sure they don't C9 this and keep control at that point. That's a good pick by Plato and Chosen. One apiece. Bagel joins in on the fight, and Broncos take the point back. Got a long way to go. They're still in there.
Plato there at the very end with those headshots. Massive work. Hey there.
And kind of the best thing is they got all of the Rebels to spend all of their ultimates. So that was such a long, drawn-out fight that all 5 Qs were pressed, and Boise State has now even footing with the Rebels as we're ready to go in. Nice first pick against Mantua, and man, that's a lot of healing now gone from UNLV. I don't know if they push here. They're just going to wait that out for the respawn.
Matt continued to be alive. I was worried. He pushed in there very deep.
A little bit of diversion from this Tracer, trying to divide Boise State's attention. Hopefully, I mean, they are cognizant of the flank, but they don't ignore the main fight too much as UNLV goes charging through with their Kitsune rush to take back the point. Remember, they only need to win 1 team fight to win it. Beat for Boise State to keep them alive as well as the window. A lot of damage now being placed out onto the Rebels through that window. They're negating it. Oh, there was one shot, though, by the Cassidy that took them almost the way down to 0. That's going to force the beat out in retaliation. And we have a Deadeye. He gets booped back.
No!
Isn't able to land any of them, but did look like he managed to land the grenade. And that's probably the biggest pick right there. Kel taking out QWERTY with the tank gone for UNLV. There's no one left to defend all these squishies. And Kel is pulling a QWERTY back onto UNLV, getting a triple for himself in that team fight, and most likely winning the Broncos control.
I mean, as the number slowly ticks up, all they got to do is just take out this Doomfist, and it looks like with that, it's just a matter of taking out the squishies, and I think they just might have it.
Yeah, UNLV is in that, keep the game going at any cost mentality, which you got to do at this point. They're on all of those heroes that can just get there as quickly as possible. Don't know if QWERTY can get back, and nope, they'll keep him at bay. And Boise State looking a bit shaky there at the start of the match, however.
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, it was a pretty rough start, but that was a really big turnaround. That last round specifically, that just became like a battle of the Zaryas on multiple. I mean, it seemed like it was a big back and forth.
Yep.
And, of course, we've got this play of the game. What a team kill there.
Yeah, and great work by QWERTY moving right up into that choke point, because remember that Zarya can pop her, just place her bubble onto herself, take up the whole doorway, and just bodies the rest of the Broncos. Completely nasty. Definitely looks like those buffs are being put to good use. Zarya is back as a forefront runner for UNLV. Even though Broncos won, exactly what I would expect to see from the top two teams in the Mountain West. It goes all 3 games down to overtime, 99-99.
Yep.
These two teams want to win this championship so bad. UNLV has been in a drought for 3 years of the championship as the Broncos have risen and surpassed their level. But as we're seeing, with a tank as dominant as QWERTY can be, this year might just be a little different.
Man, that was very, very hard fought at the end, and I might still be a little bit salty about the fact that we didn't get a Lucio, but maybe the swap to Illari is what we needed, and what the fact that we were able to win through this second round.
I mean, hey, you can put out a lot of damage with that Captive Sun, and Chosen going to show that, can land the right clicks. Use Captive Sun right after that. I thought we would see that, but Chosen's still able to provide a lot of great offensive utility. We'll move on to the next stage. No surprises here either.
What a shocker. What a shocker.
What a coinky-dink.
What a coinky-dink indeed.
Yeah, I never saw this coming.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I could, I close my eyes. Like, if I had to guess, I've had my eyes closed this entire time, you know? King's Row.
Yep. It's one of those things where it's kind of a sure bet, you know, just to place it down. This is why Overwatch is not a casino game, because the house wouldn't win. Everyone would just always bet that King's Row comes up, and it always will.
Yeah, it always will. But then one day it won't happen, and then the house will get back all of their money.
And maybe one day heck will freeze over. We'll just have to see if that actually happens, Dal.
But that day's not today.
Nope. I mean, we're seeing the hoof and haunch here. That pig on the sign is more likely to come off of it and start flying in the air than King's Row is ever going to be pushed to the background of Overwatch fame.
I've never really noticed all of the graffiti around. You know?
Yeah, there's a lot of, I mean, in all the stages, there's a lot of little details you can pick out around. I love the name, but Alderworth.
Alderworth.
You don't have enough money to stay the Alderworth.
That's generational.
Yeah.
Wow. So fancy. I'm sure I could walk away if I was able to steal that.
Now wait, that's not a British highway. Wait a minute. That highway has people driving on the right side of the road. What are you talking about immersion here? Blizzard.
Oh, man.
They messed it up. You're supposed to be driving on the left side of the road in Britain.
I'm trying to get immersed in the universe, but I can't do that anymore.
Immersion broken.
Unbelievable. Disappointing to say the least. A little tiny, sneaky little gap there in between the statue.
Matt Murph trying to line something up with the Hanzo, using the Storm Arrow to put as much damage as he can onto QWERTY, but QWERTY's managing to tank it up, and he's been found out in his positioning. He's going to get Sojourn right to his face. Matt Murph is bailed out by a large bagel. Takes a quick 2-on-1, and now Chosen continues piling on the eliminations, forcing UNLV back to the choke. Matt Murph lands it with the Storm Arrow. 2 more, and UNLV is sent back to start.
Ugh, man, that was scary. That was scary. I mean, admittedly, Hanzo did get the first and the last shot, but I don't know if it would have been enough on his own if it weren't for Large Bagel being there to, you know, save. Just looking for a little bit of a peek here. Can't find it. Got to go back for the heal.
Maybe trying to find a flank through the Alderworth. Plato goes through, but it's not going to go. Oh no, it's Zarya going through Alderworth right now. It's trying to put as much damage as they can onto Boise State's backline. UNLV has already picked off Kellen. Without that tank, this is a huge opening for the Rebels. Plato was able to take out Omniflare, but they need to get rid of QWERTY Tumor if they have any chance of winning this fight. QWERTY still has some supports to heal him back up, and they're already 1 tick to claiming the payload. It's going to have to be a recontest here. Nice pick on 2. Nice pick onto their support. They get both of them. That tank has no more healing left. This could be the chance. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Matt Murph has free reign. He is running circles around the Rebels right now, giving enough time for Boise State to come back onto the point as a full team.
many back-to-back headshots there from Matt Merck. That was stellar.
Talk about a fly on the wall. They just couldn't swat him no matter what they tried. Boise State now back with a whole bunch of ultimates to use.
Into the
Zarya
older
battle. Back into the older ones. Oh, Dragon's going through the older ones right now, but not finding anybody. Hey, Doggo eliminates Boise State. Plato, Matt Merck trades it back with a demo onto the one you want. Their tank. It's going to be another hold for UNLV.
Able to take out the Lucio as well. Makes it look so easy.
Yeah.
I play one game of Hanzo. I don't want to play the game ever again. I got a consistent 2% headshot rate, and that's because one of them went AFK.
That could be said about every single esport ever. Land a shot with the op. It looks so easy. Double tap into the goal. It looks so easy. Miracle draw in Hearthstone to draw exactly the right card. You just make it look so easy.
Able to draw all of them back. I mean, as the time slowly draws down, I have. What is the Hearthstone miracle draw? I don't even know what that is.
That would be pulling Zephyrs out. He allows you to wish for the perfect card.
Oh, okay.
But Boise State is going to have to focus on Overwatch for right now. Moving on in, and so many particle effects. This ultimate just tear right through the older of UNLV, trying to take back the point using as many ultimates as they possibly can. The beat, the overclock, but Boise State is answering back with their own beat and window as well, raining a bunch of damage down from the upper field. Now UNLV only has half a minute to take this point back. They've got 2 ticks on the point, but Boise State now gets their first pick onto Hertz. Nice melee. Plato also gets one onto the Lucio, but QWERTY is starting to make back ground, picks up a double to even things up. Plato and Cal push him into a 2-person advantage, and those last picks take out the remaining Rebels, and Boise State maintains a complete hold on the first point.
I mean, time's gonna roll down. Take out the Lucio. Oh my! Please, have some decency. My goodness. Wow. Makes it look so easy.
Yeah. These players absolutely filthy on some of these heroes just with their accuracy.
Now, you know, obviously we may not be like the biggest Kings Row enjoyers, right? But at least we now get to appreciate the older world.
We do. Well, we're not going to see anything much past it, however.
Oh.
Because Boise State takes this strategy a lot of times. They start out on defense and then just try a complete hold. And it's a very difficult thing to do because that spawn point is so far away from the first point. You almost saw UNLV break through Boise State. It was just Matt Merck as that Hanzo.
Oh, yeah.
Who took on UNLV as just one person, got 2 eliminations, forced the whole team to turn their backs toward the point as Boise State just walked back in on the respawn. That was insane. I mean, you got to be patting Matt Merck especially on the back for his performance.
Very warranted. Of course, we get another look at the older one.
I got to say, Matt Merck has earned himself a free room. He should. With the way he's been performing.
You've earned a suite at the Alderworth this evening. Congratulations.
Definitely have. But Boise State now just needs to get onto the point, needs to get past 88.8% of... I feel like I'm playing the Stanley Parable. It's just the 8 game. I love the 8 game.
Love the 8 game.
Boise State now, Matt Merck. Just, I love that skin,
so
by the way. All right, we'll see if UNLV has some time. Oh my goodness, moving damage to above, forcing the squishies back and down. Throws out the mine, trying to get him in midair. Doesn't manage to find it, and Matt Merck is going to be taken out.
For a minute there, he looked like he was going to be terrifying.
Definitely. I mean, he brought out the whole... It was either going to be one thing. He was, with that candy skin, he was either going to be the actual Willy Wonka or Willy's Chocolate Experience level, and unfortunately it was the latter in that first push. But we'll see if he can regain his composure. Boise State having a bit of time getting their first tick. That Zarya Cal very low on health, having to retreat all the way. Boise State just going for a soft reset, waiting for the team to group back up as UNLV moves back onto the choke. That point.
Would that make Roadhog the unknown?
I think it's the least likely person who would be able to hide in the walls. I think Sombra would probably be it because she's the one who can cloak out the most.
That's fair. That's fair, I suppose.
course, Boise State a lot to fight for here. The point, the chance to get to match point, and a free jelly bean and a third cup of lemonade go to the winners of this map. Lato gets the pick onto Kern, already up towards a tick. They're taking a bit of a while, though. There's a few stragglers left, as well as this Lucio, who beats himself and QWERTY. Only was able to get two, but this Zarya is...
What is happening?
Oh my goodness, those are charged.
Why is Zarya back there?
You know what, just keep him off the point. They didn't even get the tick, but as Doc says in one of his keys to the game, when the team fight first, then the objectives, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to close out the last few remaining players they need to. Now they can, UNLV needs to retake here. Ooh. Moving in, nice pick onto Hertz. Nice, Chosen shoots Omni right out of the air. That's going to be another round one for the Broncos. Moving on to match point.
Just like that. Oh. Man.
And Matt Murray,
let's see this
again. I don't know if it's going to be that exact moment.
Oh,
it was the moment he was bailed
save.
out. I mean, you can also kind of give that one over to Bago. I would say that's kind of a co-play of the game, because if Bago hadn't come in there, he might have very well been taken out, and then, yeah.
Just, wow. Hanzo, crazy headshot rate from Matt Merck. Absolutely off the charts.
He got off to a very shaky start, because you remember he started out on the Bastion on Nepal, but it was just the great play from UNLV QWERTY on that Zarya that really kind of shut that down. So he was really kind of searching. He's gone through a bunch of DPSs now. He went from Bastion over to Reaper. Over to Hanzo, and then over to Junkrat. But it seems Hanzo was the one that paid the most dividends for him. Yeah, here it is. This is unreal. The way he's just being so stealthy and avoiding everyone from UNLV and still managing to take him out so Boise State could respawn and retake the point. Because right here, I mean, they were at 88.8%. So they could have had that payload.
Yeah. I mean, this moment.
And also, look at how much that Zarya is charged up. Both UNLV and Boise State. That Zarya is such a scary sight.
What a game.
Yeah, what a game is really all I can say, because Boise State, that was their biggest advantage that they had on Kings Row. Now we're going to move on to the next stage. If we're following standard stage order, then it should be Flashpoint, which means UNLV has two options to choose from. They're either going to go to Servasta, or they are going to go over to New Junk. And not a lot of people choose the latter.
I was about to say I don't see a lot of New Jersey, so we'll just wait. We'll just wait for that map to show up, and then we can both side together, I suppose. So I don't know. I always love off picks. I'm an off pick kind of guy.
It's hard to call it an off pick when there's only two options.
Yeah, I mean, but it's not about the number of options.
It's like. It's like when Taco Bell released the 2 Doritos tacos and they said collect all 2. It's just that's the case with
all 2.
Collect all 2, and that's the case with Overwatch and Flashpoint. It's either one or the other, and it is going to be the standard Servasta being brought out. And hey, good news for you. That probably means we're going to be seeing the Lucios.
Hey, I'll take the win where I can find it. I'm just collect all 2. Collect all 2 wins. Well, I mean, I believe that was either Brigitte or it was Lucio. I couldn't tell.
And it's probably going to be Lucio. It does give me a chance to mention that that is a favorite word to learn, is that Servasta and New Junk City holding a duopoly on Flashpoint.
Duopoly?
That's when there's 2 companies controlling a business. A duopoly.
Okay, I mean, that makes sense. Give them a monopoly is 1. So,
and then if there's a few more, like 3 or 4, it's called an oligopoly.
Yeah, I know an oligopoly when
I see duopoly, there are a few of those. I can't think of any right now, but I'll get back to that. Right now, Boise State is placing as much damage as they can. This far, it can be scary in the right hands. Already forcing out the Immortality Field and getting picks onto the Squishies. Gonna be forcing back. Oh my goodness, has nowhere to run. That Sojourner sitting duck. And UNLV wiped out as this forest strategy coming through really strong for Boise State.
Now, I don't want to keep continuing to shout out Matt Merck here just over and over and over again, but if there's one character that's really difficult to take Lucio out with, it's going to be Farah. So the fact that he did that with such ease, man.
Yeah, and that, you know, with him on the Farah, that puts Omniflarp in the position of the one to try to contest him. I mean, the Tracer just doesn't have that long range to be able to shoot that Farah out. Hurt's already taking a bunch of damage. There you go again. So it might be a question, especially as we move past Morgan into some more open air. I saw you there, Bagel, with that pick in the corner. I got to shout that out. But as we move more into open air, might force some sort of swap out from UNLV to get a little bit longer range. We already see one of those. Omniflarp going over to the Cassidy. Yep, that's a pick commonly used against Farah.
I mean, Senna's just slowly racking up. I mean, just keep him off here for long enough, and we might just have a good handle on this whole entire game. Good dink there, but it's not about the dink. It's about the site itself.
Matt Merck coming up on a barrage is going to get all sneaky right into the back line. I like what I see, and gets one onto QWERTY, but is only able to take out one as he focused down the tank, but it did help Kel win the fight against QWERTY, so I'd say that's an old well spent. Boise State wins the first Flashpoint because of that, and they'll move on to the next. And so you got to remember on Flashpoint, if you're the one to take the first point, this can be a very snowbally mode.
That is, yeah, absolutely true.
Especially if you get yourself in a position where you're closer to the next Flashpoint. Boise State, I mean, look at that. They're already to the next one, and there's still 20 seconds left before it unlocks.
To this day, I still don't really know what the difference is between Flashpoint and a regular just capture the point. You know, it's just all on one map instead of on multiple. Interesting decision, but, you know, it's whatevs, I guess.
I mean, there's a lot of modes in competitive that have different points you move to.
That's
Hard
true.
point on COD, you know, it's just your classic kind of King of the Hill more flavor. Boise State already taken the second Flashpoint. UNLV having 3 ultimates that they could use. It's going to be 4, though, possibly 5, actually. QWERTY's very close. But Boise State has quite a few ultimates to use back themselves, including our favorite, good old Bob here. Uncle Bob, I should say, is moving in, ready with the shield. He's going to be firing at the opposing Zarya, but Boise State has too much aggression onto that Zarya for any of that charge to make any difference. Took them out. Oh, we got to swap over to the monkey. Winston here.
I used to be able to do a really good Winston voice. I don't think I can do it anymore.
The glory days are gone.
Hi there. Yeah, I can't do it. I'm sorry.
Well, maybe you can work on that, and then the next time you're up here, you can impress us all. But right now, Boise State looking to take this second Flashpoint, going past 75%. UNLV needs to put the rear in gear and get a touch onto this point as we go past 80 now. They're going to bring out the Deadeye. Oh, make some uncomfortable eye contact. And Matt Merck taken out of the skies. They are shooting, though, this Zarya Kel, who is all charged up. They're going to be using the beat to make their way onto the point with a lot of tanky health, and they force Boise State off at 99%. And now we're going to be trying to get even more pressure placed up against the Broncos. Get a flank to the left or the right. Which are you going to choose? Dynamite goes out, trying to get the hits onto that Lucio, and hey, Kel lands it.
Yeah, I mean, slowly trying to take back control. All you got to do is take out this Winston. Find this Tracer, and just like that, we are going to be going to the next point. 2 points. We'll have 2 points now. You know what that means? I know what that means. I know what it counts. I don't know. This is always a running.
You're talking like this is a Nick Jr. show, Dallin.
I know.
We've moved from 1 to 2 points.
I know.
You know what that means.
That means. I don't know.
Next thing you're going to be asking me to find the hidden blue paw prints all over this stage right here.
Can you find? Can you find Lucio?
I still don't see him.
There he is!
Oh, look, there's a barrage being brought out by Matt Merck. Doesn't look like it found anybody. Kitsune rush for the retake onto the point. Matt Merck already getting pick onto Hertz. We stayed up 5-4 to throw a Bob on stage to get an even bigger numbers advantage. Force him back, and Kern eliminated. Now both supports gone for the Rebels. We stayed moving around the flank routes as well. Going to force Cordy off the edge as they have to commit to a full reset.
Don't want to mess with Uncle Bob.
No, you don't.
Want to do it. Uncle Bob is always right. I mean, with access to a window here, it's going to be difficult to take this back.
Chosen, what are you planning? Chosen, you're really going to flank him from behind as
Not
a
with a
Baptiste.
window.
Use your own window. That is the most selfish use of a window I've ever seen. I like it, but it doesn't work out. He gets bodied down by the tank. Matt Merck evening it up for the Broncos. Hertz gets a pick onto Boise State's one of their DPSs. It's Plato that goes down. Boise State still has their tank, but UNLV is making enough presence on the point. They are just so close, taking it back from the south. There, they get it. Hertz one pick onto Kel. Primal Fury to push him back. I mean, this is, my goodness, Winston. No! It's going right after Matt Merck. Swat that fly out of the air. I mean, he pays for it, but, you know, I got to say that's a good victory.
Scary.
There. That's just a thing in your pocket, you know. I managed to get you. Omniflarp has used the copy.
Was that Lucio?
Yep, it gets taken out, but because brought the copy, that means he is bringing out the Echo for a little bit more contest with Boise State in midair. Boise State takes the point back. UNLV was able to get 56% charge. Boise State is past 80. UNLV needs to win this team fight, and that Winston already taking a whole bunch of damage. Graviton Surge out, throwing the grenades as well. Kel is able to pick out this Tracer. But this Winston is still alive, and just by a little. No, they take him out, and I think that's going to be the team fight one for Boise State. And not just the team fight, but also Flashpoint and the whole game as well. Oh, one Deadeye, though, and is able to land it onto the Lucio. That is game, set, and match for the Broncos. They have won the rematch of the West and are looking good for the rest of the season.
Now, unfortunately, you cannot Lucio juke out a Deadeye, so... But that, yeah, that's going to be reps.
Especially, I think that's just a little bit of salt in the wound for UNLV as well. I mean, their mascot's literally a cowboy, you know, the Rebels, and to be taken out, you know, by Cassidy, and Boise State does the dance instead. That's just showing. If there's ever a horse character introduced into Overwatch, and what?
Orsa. Orsa is the horse character.
I guess so, but I mean a full-fledged. I guess no, this is more referred to as the battle cattle.
Robot horse.
Listen. When there is a complete Bronco-looking hero introduced into Overwatch, some other team needs to pick it and beat Boise State with it just to rub it in.
Robot horse.
Okay, you keep dying on that hill.
I'm right, though. I'm right.
Possibly. I don't know. All I remember is Orisa is always referred to as battle cattle.
Cattle. Cow.
Is not a horse. Now you're really stretching here. Your logic is falling apart at the seams. But right now, the real story is Boise State pulls off a 3-0 victory against UNLV. But the Rebels' performance on DePaul makes me think, you know, if they really get into those VOD reviews and improve over the season, and if both these teams make it back to the grand finals, we could have a heck of a postseason lined up for us in the Mountain West.
Absolutely. I was very concerned going into, like, that first map specifically on Nepal. It just didn't look very good, but Boise State consistently continued to come out on top.
Well, that's going to do it for this match, but we want to give a quick shout-out to Drop In Gaming first, the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. You can play your favorite games to win cash and prizes through free and paid entry matches and tournaments. Whether you're new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop In Gaming has the right games and competition for you. And we'll also have the Idaho Army National Guard bringing us the top 5 plays of the game, which will come out here to close out the evening. And please remember, Idaho Army National Guard is one of the best teams to join out there. They have a variety of positions offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree of choice paid for, so you can reach out to them at iGuard Idaho on Instagram if you want to find out more. But for now, this is Jacob and Dallin signing off here for the night. Congrats, Boise State, on your win against the Rebels. And here are your top 5 plays.
Better season, man.
because they're all caught up in that narrow room, and there is kind of a split push from UNLV, kind of dividing Plato's attention. This Lucio gets hit with one shot and isn't able to escape him out, and I think that's going to be the team fight one for Boise State, and not just the team fight, but also Flashpoint and the whole game as well. Oh, one Deadeye though, and is able to lair. Boise State also needs to make sure they don't C9 this and keep control at that point. That's a good pick by Plato and Chosen. One apiece. Babel joins in on the fight. And Broncos, oh my goodness, has nowhere to run. That Sojourner sitting duck. UNLV wiped out. Is this Forest strategy coming? But QWERTY is starting to make back ground, picks up a double to even things up. Plato and Cal push him into a two-person advantage, and those last picks take out the remaining Rebels. And